In this video, we'll look at the multiple choice question type. So I created a question, I gave it a description of sample multiple choice question. What I'm going to do is select a question type of multiple choice. So a multiple choice question is a multiple choice question where the student selects one of the given options for the question. So what I'm going to do is go to the question text and draft up some question text. Maybe we say A is how many times as large as B. So we'll ask that question. And so if we quick save and preview, we shouldn't see anything that interesting. We don't see A and B. We also don't see any options. We get yelled at saying questions is not defined or needs to be an array. So we've got some indication of what we're doing wrong. And what we'll do first is define some variables, A and B. So we'll just do A as a random integer between 31 and 39, and B is a random integer between 11 and 19, say. And so if we save now, at least we have our variables A and B in there, but we still don't have this questions variable that we need. So if we pull open the documentation for writing questions and we go to multiple choice, we see some required variables. We need questions, which is an array of choices for the question. We also need an answer variable, which tells us the index of the correct answer. So we've got a couple things we need. So we'll start with defining some questions. I'll leave a little comment. Define choices. And so this variable questions is what we need. And so we'll do questions equals, and we need an array of options. So we'll add some options in here. So maybe we do like A plus B and A minus B to start. And we'll just see what this does for us. So with quick save and preview, we get the A plus B, A minus B, and by default, iMathES is going to randomize those questions, like the order of the choices. However, notice that this is actually not nicely typesetted, like this isn't really nice math typesetting. So if we go to our questions and we actually add some backticks in there, we can actually math typeset within those options. So now if we quick save and preview, since those are wrapped in backticks, they're actually rendered out using the math rendering engine. So that's a pretty nice feature. We'll add a couple more in, so we'll do something like A times B as well as A divided by B. And then, yeah, we'll leave that and we'll try that out. Okay, so now we've got some nice options here. And it turns out that the correct answer should be that, in this case, 38 divided by 18, but it's really like the last choice that we defined. And so the answer variable is going to be the index of the correct answer. So what that means is we have our questions list, and we have the 0 index is the first one, index 1 is the second option, index 2, and then we have index 3 corresponding to that last option. So our answer should be 3 because 3 is the index of the correct answer. So now if we quick save and preview, we select this correct answer, submit it. Now we get the correct feedback. Okay, so with multiple choice questions, there's a lot of scenarios where you'll want some kind of like none of the above option. So maybe we'll make our last choice none of the above. However, if we save this, we see that none of the above is the last one. That was actually by luck. If we regenerate this, now none of the above is thrown as the second choice. And because all of these are randomized by default, if we want the last option to be stuck at the bottom, there's a variable called noShuffle, and we can set that to a string with the word last in it to make it so that the last option is not randomized. So now if we quick save and preview, none of the above is at the bottom. And we can keep regenerating this, and every time we regenerate it, none of the above is stuck at the bottom. There's also an option for noShuffle equals all, and this will make it so nothing is shuffled. So like the order that you give the options is the order that they're going to be displayed. So noShuffle last is a nice option there. Another option that can sometimes be helpful, depending on the scenario, is display format. So display format gives you some options for displaying things, and one of the options is select. So if we do display format equals select, we preview that, our actual answer box is going to be a drop down where we can select our answer choices. But notice that the math is not going to render. This is based on some limitations of HTML. And so if you want math typesetting, the select option is not going to be that great, but this can be really useful for other scenarios. If you want like a less intrusive thing, you can do a drop down. However, if you want to do some nice typesetting, you probably don't want that in there. And so you just don't define a display format.